We're live, baby. Business is booming. Episode 1. We got the Boomachino here. It's delicious. We're gonna do a little bit of a breakdown, a recap of UFC Vegas 16. So if you have any questions, any comments, put them in the section. First and foremost, subscribe to my channel if you could. That'd be great. Give a thumbs up to the video. That always helps as well. We're gonna try to do these every Sunday. I got held up yesterday. I'm gonna try to do these every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. If anything changes, I'll tweet, but for the most part, we're gonna try to keep it there. That way, it's the day after the fights. It's kind of fresh in our minds, and I figured 1:30 p.m. Eastern time is good enough. On a Sunday, most people aren't at work, so anybody on the West Coast can tune in as well. We're gonna have a whole new setup. I know right now it's a bit crazy in the background, although we got Max Holloway right here. They all cupcakes, right? I mean. We got this guy. We got this old guy. He used to have a little bit of hair on his head. We got hats. We got everything. But once I move into the new house, which is going to be hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have a nice boom room. And we're going to have a whole good setup, background, posters, decorations. And I'll have a nicer desk and everything's going to be refreshed. But UFC Vegas 16. A lot to talk about. I mean, there was supposed to be 14 or 13 fights, and it got knocked down to 8 due to a bunch of positive COVID tests, couple of injuries, stuff like that. But nonetheless, there was really good fights, good finishes. On the prelims, we had Jake Collier, Gian Vellante just kind of slinging, in the pocket, just back and forth, both taking damage, both very durable. I thought Collier actually looked pretty fresh and pretty good with his output. His cardio looked good, throughout the fight. He was landing the better shots. You could see he was even throwing pretty good spin kicks to the ribs of Vellante. But Vellante is just so durable, man. That was a pretty good fight, exciting fight. Collier comes out victorious, unanimous decision. One guy I was really impressed with was Ilia Topuria. Man, that guy's crisp striking looked amazing. And Damon Jackson, his second round in the UFC, his second stint, I should say. Looked amazing in his last fight, but man, Topuria just kind of came in and just shut him down and really put it on him on the feet, landed beautiful body shots. His pocket striking was amazing. His hands were up. He was dipping. He was throwing left hooks to the body, right overhands to the head. His range control on the inside was amazing. And that was a vicious KO to the body, man, followed up with a right hand to the head after he was already kind of out of breath. That guy's going to do big things at featherweight. Louis Smolka looked, and honestly, I thought Jose Quinones showed a lot of improvements, and I thought that was a high-paced fight. They came out first round throwing very high volume, and a lot of guys don't do that because they're trying to pace themselves, and sometimes you watch fights, you're like, man, you got to slow down and pace yourself, kind of like how Vettori looked in the main event early on, but then he was a slick veteran in there and kind of slowed things up and picked his shots. But Smolka and Jose Quinones were throwing nonstop in that fight, and Smolka looked good. He was able to kind of take him down. At first, he looked like he had a strength, disadvantage, but then he was able to take Quinones down and get that submission, TKO finish because he took his back, he kind of flattened him out, and he finished him with punches, but he almost had the submission. So that was a big win for Smolka. We'll see where he goes from here. That's a guy that I could see myself fighting, down the line. That's big for him because I think he came off that loss, right? He got guillotined to somebody else. I think it was Casey Kenny. I'm not sure who he fought last, but he lost. And then moving on, Jordan Levitt. What a interesting, weird character, right? He picks up Matt Wyman, fucking drags him over to his corner, and then he's holding him up pretty much with a squat, and then he takes and slams him with that brutal knockout slam that you don't see ever, really. That brings me back to the Rampage days, and that was just what a impressive situation where you have a guy that just looks like a stone cold killer, but kind of awkward, kind of different. Very smart individual. I know he says he reads like 75 books a year or something crazy like that. But that slam was insane. Like, just the fact that he was able to be composed enough. He heard his corner say, "Bring him over here." So he carries him, walks him all the way across the cage, and then to frame on his neck like that while he has him held up in the air, slam him. I felt for Matt Wyman. I know his wife was in his corner. That was, a dangerous KO. He was out for a while. I hate seeing that. But it's part of the game, and you hope he's okay. But man, Jordan Levitt just made waves for himself. That's a bonus right there. And he's a new guy coming off the Contender Series, and these are the guys that Dana White's looking out to see. Like, are you the real deal? And now you know that Jordan Levitt's the real deal. I mean, I say that meaning like he's a guy that performs and he's a guy that can finish you. He's known for submissions, but that's his first knockout. And look at the way he did that. But let's not get it twisted. We know Matt Wyman's, an older veteran that's been in the game for a long time, and he probably shouldn't still be at the UFC level. He hasn't performed that great, and he's obviously an older guy, and you could see when a guy is kind of on his way out. So I think that's probably the end for Matt Wyman, to be honest. And guys, if you leave questions in the comment section, I'll get to them at the end of this. We're just kind of recapping the UFC Vegas 16 quick. Roman Dolidze, John Allen. The first thing I'm going to say here is, what was the judge, Chris Lee, thinking, man? Gave John Allen the fight. Was quite weird. I don't know where he saw that, man. John Allen was kind of getting dominated for the most part. I know he was throwing big shots, but Dolidze was going for heel hooks. He was standing on top of him, kicking his legs. He was taking him down. He was passing guard. He was on top for quite some time. Even on the feet, I feel like he was landing the more effective shots. And then you got a judge like Chris Lee, who's judging the fight for John Allen, and you got to think, like, what's going on? Like, what is the guy seeing? And I really think, it'd be nice if we could hear a little bit of clarity from these judges, and be able to talk to them and maybe have them do some post-fight press conferences if need be, and just be honest with us and tell us what you saw. Tell us why you judged the fight that way. We got to see what's going on with these guys who, they have livelihoods in their hands, essentially. Guys making money. When you win a fight, you make double your pay. You got to pay a mortgage, you got kids to take care of, and then you got a judge here who's potentially going to steal half of your paycheck by making a mistake or just by not caring or not knowing what he's seeing. It's ridiculous at this high level at the UFC. You're at the highest level of your sport as a professional athlete, and you got to deal with this kind of thing. And I think that's very unfortunate, and I don't think you see that in other sports, really. It is a bit tougher to judge our sport, I feel, than to, kind of referee a basketball game or, a football game or something like that, a soccer game. It's quite different. But at the same token, it's like we gotta hold these guys accountable, and we got to make sure we're hiring. These commissions got to hire the right people for the right job. This is a serious job. Are they really intelligent? Do they train mixed martial arts? Have they been in the game for a while? I believe Chris Lee has been a judge for a long time too, but a lot of boxing judges cross over, and it's a complete different sport. I mean, honestly, I'll be honest, even if a guy takes a guy down and the guy on the bottom is throwing elbows off his back and he's submission threats and this and that, I would score that for the guy on his back. I would score the guy trying to finish the fight, being more aggressive than I would the guy who landed the takedown, who's just sitting on top, peppering maybe a couple body shots. I mean, you got to kind of weigh that out. Like, where's the marker there? Like, is the guy winning because he took you down and he's on top for a minute? Or are you winning because you're on your back throwing elbows and triangle threats and arm bars and maybe a heel hook submission that, gets you back up to your feet? What do the judges see there? Are they scoring the aggression and the attempts to finish the fight? Or are they scoring the takedown secured and you just kind of laying there kind of throwing light shots? Like, you got to kind of weigh that out. It's hard to figure that out. But in my mind, the guy, even on his back, if he's being more aggressive and more output and more finishing attempts, then I think he's winning the fight. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Moving on up. Sniffles. Call me Sniffles, right? I mean, forget Boom, right? Gabriel Benitez with the beautiful knee attack on Justin James. Man, I thought that was awesome timing, you know. And Gabriel Benitez, he's like a dark horse in the lightweight featherweight division. I think he's a featherweight, but they fight at lightweight. You know, COVID catch weights. That's what I'm looking for. Fuck these weight cuts. Let's go in there. Let's go in healthy. Let's stop fucking around with our brains. We need to go in hydrated. I know it's all fun and games. You like to flex on the scale and shit. It's cool and all, but it's like it's not. It's not because it's first off, it makes the process miserable. Second off, you have two fighters going in there trying to fight at the same size essentially, but drop a ton of water weight and drain your brain the day before you actually go in and fight and get hit in the head. Meanwhile, you both go in there at the same weight you were 3 weeks before you fucking did all this. So I don't understand that, and I hate that part of the sport, to be honest with you, but I don't see it going away anytime soon. I wish it would be reevaluated, and maybe they would make some changes with that and figure out a way to kind of keep us from cutting weight. I don't know the solution exactly, but I have a couple ideas. You know, if they weigh, you know, if USADA randomly drug test us, have them randomly weigh us. I mean, I don't know. We're not going to know when they're coming, so we're not going to fucking flush our bodies of water the day before. You know, we're going to wake up that day at our natural weights before, you know, they test us 3 weeks out from the fight, 4 weeks out. Okay, this fighter's this weight, that fighter's this weight. You know, they can only weigh, you know, 5 pounds less max on fight day or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's the solution, but they got to come up with something. It just doesn't make sense to me to do this. I mean, I fought during the pandemic a couple times at 145, and I felt amazing. Like, yeah, I'm walking around 156, 157. I do have to cut a little bit of weight, but it's not enough to make the process miserable. You know, I diet, I'm a professional. I make sure my body's in great shape. I lose about 5 pounds fight week, and I'm on weight, you know, and my brain's not dehydrated. I felt like I was able to take shots better. I felt like my power was better. I felt like myself, you know. I didn't feel like I was still a portion of my full self. That's what I don't like. But getting back to the fight, that knee from Benitez was amazing. You know, he kind of waited till Justin James came in hard. He knew he was going to create forward pressure. Justin James is a guy that comes in there, tries to take your head off with bombs. He's not a shy fighter by any means. He doesn't move around and avoid. He tries to get in there and scrap. So knowing that, I think Gabriel Benitez was waiting to time that forward pressure. You know, Justin James was going to come straight forward, direct line with a lot of aggression, and Benitez kind of met him right here. So Justin James was like, I'm coming. Benitez met him and threw that knee at the same time. We're playing fucking stick figure MMA here, but you know what I'm saying. The knee was just beautifully timed. It was like in the rib or in the gut. I think Justin James lost his breath. He was down and out, you know, and Benitez finished him up, and that was impressive because I'll be honest, Justin James is like he's been pretty impressive. You know, his first couple fights in the UFC were very aggressive, very exciting. So, you know, Benitez was dealing with a tough guy there, and he put him away, and it looked amazing doing it with that knee. So, props to him. That was at 155. I imagine he'll probably go back down to 45 after this, but we'll see. Man, Jamal Hill. This guy's cool, composed, smooth, confident, everything. You know, during fight week, I was listening to his interviews, and you could just smell the confidence off of him. You know that this guy believes in what he's saying, and he believes in his skill set and what he's going to do out there. Ovince St. Preux unfortunately missed weight. A lot of, you know, talk about he was the first one to weigh in 9 o'clock or whatnot, but he kind of missed by a pound. I know a lot of people don't like to see that because it kind of shows that you stopped early and you quit when you could have had the extra 2 hours to lose that pound. He said his coach told him to stop. He listens to his coach. You know, this you know, there's still a lot of fights for Ovince St. Preux. He's definitely a big name that they could utilize to build, just like they did with Jamal Hill. You know, bring in the younger guy that you're high on and kind of put him against a bigger name guy that he could build his name off of. It's exactly what they did here, and I think Jamal Hill, beautiful finish. His boxing looks amazing. John Jones was giving him compliments. His composure is great in there, and you know, OSP is not an easy win. This guy packs a lot of power. He has had big knockouts in the UFC. He's fought way more fights fights than Jamal Hill, way tougher competition. And Jamal Hill comes in and kind of takes his place, and I could see OSP being, maybe one more fight they'll give him, but I could see them cutting him. He's a guy that gets paid. He's been in there for a while, and you heard Dana White at the post-fight press conference, like he's going to start cutting like a lot of fighters, and that's not good to hear, because you got to. That's the pressure right there on your shoulders that you got to go in and finish fights and perform really exciting, perform really really well, because if they're looking at cutting a big portion of the roster, which we noticed they're bringing in a lot of contender series fights, and they're cutting older guys and guys, kind of veteran guys that aren't really putting on good fight or finishing fights that get paid really well because they're trying to cut the pay grade. They're bringing in guys that are going to get paid at the lowest pay scale, and they're kicking out guys that are getting paid at the higher pay scale. So it makes sense business wise for them, but that's unfortunate for a lot of fighters. You gotta cover your ass right now. But Jamal Hill looked really good. I could see them giving him an even bigger name now, someone in the top 15. I forget the name. Someone brought up would like to see him fight Dominic Reyes. Yeah, that would be a sick fight. I don't know if they give him someone of that stature next, but that would be an awesome fight to see. Main event, man. What a fight, right? Marvin Vettori was the favorite going into this fight, which surprised a lot of people, but I kind of had him winning. I thought striking wise, he was going to be able to land the bigger shots, and that's kind of how the fight went, but Jack Hermanson was never going to go away. He was attempting, takedowns. He just wasn't able to finish them. Vettori had that physicality in there. You could tell he was just a little bit stronger. He was able to defend everything. I mean, his technique defensively was amazing. He was hitting switches, he was hitting sprawls, and he was defending leg locks really well. And his left hand was crisp, landing it over and over. I think Jack Hermanson broke his orbital, and something with his eye socket happened. I don't know. Yeah, it took a lot of damage in that fight, but man, the guy's so durable. He just was not going to go away, and it was unbelievable. I just thought that fight was, fight of the night, obviously. And I thought the fight was going to finish with it inside the distance, just based off of those two guys. They're big finishers. They very aggressive. They come for the finish, and even Hermanson was throwing those right hands, like those right hooks, to kill Vettori. He just never landed it flush. But you could tell that if one of those landed, like Vettori was going to be in trouble. And I think both of those guys gained a lot of respect for each other, just having to go through that, just knowing that this guy's never going to go away no matter what I land. That's difficult to deal with. And Vettori had to make adjustments. He came out, he was throwing a lot of volume in that first round and trying to just put Hermanson away, and then he realized, like, I'm dealing with a machine here. I got to kind of take it easy a little bit. I think he took off the second or third round, and then his coach did an amazing job in the corner, got him fired up, kind of coasted him through, told him, listen, you lost this round. You got to come back this round and come back even stronger now, and let's finish off strong. So that was amazing corner work, and Vettori was disciplined. He never lost his cool in there, and he was just fighting the perfect fight. Both of those guys were pretty much staying in the pocket and exchanging, and Vettori was just able to see things a little bit clearer, able to land that left hand better. And I just thought it was an amazing performance, And this is a guy that I think gave Israel Adesanya his toughest test. I mean, maybe not with Kelvin Gastelum fight, but he fought Israel probably the best. He didn't take as much damage as Kelvin did, that's for sure. He definitely landed his shots in that fight. I thought, he gave him a hard fight. I think he could get another fight with him in the future, and I think it might be different. Vettori's improving every time out there. I think he's the dark horse right now in that division. Like, he's my guy, like, to be a legit challenger in the near future. So look out for that. Let's get to some questions in here, you guys. Get crack-a-lackin', whatever you want. We got Jake Sleeps Floyd Mayweather live on YouTube is the new thing. Yeah, I mean, I think going live on YouTube, I don't know if you guys can tell me if the stream is working smoothly. I hope it is, but I guess it's just kind of easy for me. It's kind of already uploaded on YouTube. This is my YouTube channel. This is what I'm trying to build. So why not? Sometimes I can just record myself and put it out another day. And, some people can do some editing and stuff like that. And I guess that's, a little bit more professional. But I feel being live is a little bit more intimate. You guys know I'm right here, right now. We're talking. It's a little bit better with you guys to ask questions. A Q&A style, and I kind of like the idea of doing it in a podcast form. Business is booming, baby. Jack Attack MMA. Chris Lee slowly becoming known as a judge that truly just isn't qualified to do his job. Yeah, man. I mean, it's the talk of the town right now. I know John Anik was talking about it. He's like, listen, I'm going to have a conversation with this guy and see what the hell this guy's seeing, because it's unbelievable. With the Felder fight, he judged Felder winning that fight against RDA. It's insane. Like, what are you seeing? Like, something's going on here. Like, I don't know if this guy's betting like his life savings on certain things or what, but it's just crazy to see the way this guy's seeing fights that are so clear cut to the average person that barely watches fights, and this guy's struggling, and he's been in the game for so long. Mortal 17, boom. Have a good Monday. Stay strong and healthy, man. Rooting for you. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Jack Attack MMA. Who is the hardest hitter you've faced so far, and was there anybody whose power really surprised you? I always go back to John Lineker. I mean, I kind of think it's obvious, right? I mean, he's the only guy that put me away. I've fought at 145 before, and nobody's hit me like John Lineker. He's the only guy that I was in the fight, and I actually had to think that, like, what the fuck, man? This is different. This guy hits completely harder than anybody I've ever fought, and I've had 26 fights going in professionally. So, that says a lot about that guy. And he's not a big guy. He's short and stocky, but they call him Hands of Stone for a reason. So, yeah. Mr. Legend TV, Mr. Bonus. Yeah, we're coming for another bonus, baby. January 16th. That's all I do is look for bonus finishes. That's the way you make your big paychecks, and I just bought a house. So, yeah, definitely, business is booming, or it's got to be. Hermanson showed a lot of heart and durability, but man, Marvin is the real deal. Yeah, Marvin, he's been my guy for a while that I've been looking out for. Just the way he comes in there, aggressive, confident. I just feel like he's going to be a problem for everyone. He's very well rounded too. Like, his offensive grappling's great, his defensive grappling's great. His striking is ever improving, and it's powerful, and it's really pinpoint accurate. So he's a problem. Have you got the call out in mind after the Simon fight? I don't have anything specific as of right now. I do like to come with somewhat of a plan. I think it would be stupid to win a fight and then kind of just be like that guy that's like, yeah, I'm just thankful that I get the fight, and I just want to fight whoever and this and that. And, that's great and all, but the UFC is looking for you to be decisive, to kind of show, like, to call your shots. Like, whenever I've done that, the UFC's been behind it. So I'm all about having a plan, and I have a couple of names in my mind. I'd like to save it and make it a surprise. But I mean, how about you guys give me some input right here, right now? Who do you guys think I should call out if I beat Ricky Simone? Simon says I beat that ass, and we call out like a Munoz, Jimmy Rivera winner, or like a Rob Font, Marias, somebody who's going to propel me up there. I don't got much time to become, up in that top 5, making a run for a title. So you got to be smart with your tactics on who you call to fight, because you could either propel yourself, way quicker, or you can take the slow route and kind of work your way up slowly. It's kind of how you approach it. So I don't approach the slow route. I approach the let's get crack-a-lackin' route. It's the smoothest stream, low res, still watchable. All right, well, thank you. I got my Logitech HD 1080. I guess when I put the video up, it might come out for 1080p a little bit clearer, but I don't know if it's coming out on HD live here for you. But I also have the window open. If I take, I don't know, it's clear, but not the best. I'll try to work on that for you guys. Boom, baby. Figueredo versus Moreno prediction. Well, I'm trying to maybe we'll utilize these live Q&As as kind of a recap a Q&A, and then we can kind of talk about current events, new matchups, stuff like that. I'd like to break down those fights separately, but my quick pick would be Figueiredo. It's hard to see anybody beating that guy right now. Um, I'm sitting here playing UFC 4 and I see no Mr. Kelleher. As hey, spaded one McDysentery. Hey, that's what I'm saying. They need to get Boom in the game, you know. All the Ed #1. Let's go. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm about to buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, not sure which one yet, but I want to play UFC myself. I'm not a big gamer, but hey, figure for the house, why not? You know, we'll get a couple games NHL. I like hockey, FIFA, Mario Kart, and UFC. Those would be like my games. So I hope I'm in the game soon, man. Aldo Vera winner. Honestly, I think Aldo's gonna get that one done, unless Vera really puts it on him and it goes to the third round. I think maybe Vera can catch a late finish. Aldo has shown signs of fading, but mainly in 5-round fights. I feel like 3-round fights, Aldo is pretty good. He has taken some damage in his last fight. But I also think he looked great. You know, I think his boxing looked amazing. His power, his speed at 135. I mean, he doesn't look bad. You know, it's not like he looks washed up and slow to me. So I think Aldo can get that done, to be honest. Um, Nigel Lee, Edgar needs a fight. That's a big name for you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Frankie Edgar's a huge fight. That's a guy I would love to fight. He's a legend. I love his style. I like his personality. He's a respectful guy. He's been in the game for so long. He's been a world champion at 155, 145, right? Like, that's a big win. That's a big name to get on your record. So of course, I would always love that fight. Um, I think getting a big win over Simon could kind of put me in that avenue. You know, I don't know if I would deserve that next, but I wouldn't be opposed to calling that out. Spaded one. So many good folks missing. Looking at the lineup for your weight class, I see no excuses for you not to be there. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what the process is to get in the game, but maybe I'll have to beat this guy and say something about that. You know, maybe that's the next little step. You got to call it. You got to ask for what you want, man. You got to call your shots. So maybe I'll mention that too. Um, somewhere over the rainbow, where boom soars. Fuck 'em. O'Malley wanting to smoke. I know he wants to smoke, but I don't know if he wants to smoke. I don't know what's the deal. The UFC is going to play it a little smart with him. They're going to give him a straight striker. I know he mentioned they were trying to match him up with Thomas Almeida, which obviously that's a beautiful stylistic fight for him. A guy who's probably just going to strike with him, who's not fast enough, and a lot shorter reach, etc. Winnable fight. That's what they're looking for next for O'Malley. Maybe down the line we'll see what's up. I don't know. I don't know if that fight kind of just played itself out. I was calling for that for a while, but it's time to move forward and move on. I think Chandler is gonna fight Gaethje. Blaze 11. Who should Chandler fight? Yeah, I think Gaethje, man. I don't think anybody else is available right now, right? They got Ferguson, Oliveira. They got Conor Poirier. Khabib's gone. Gaethje makes the most sense to me. I don't know why they haven't announced. I don't know what's going on, but I think they're both in camp, so we'll see. We'll get to one or two more questions, and we'll get out of here and make it quick. I think a half hour is good enough for now, right? Maybe we'll push the envelope next time. We'll do a little 45er. Sarah Toby Opito. Oh, my legs don't want the burger. Gaethje versus Chandler would be interesting. Hooker might fight RDA. Yeah. You know what? Chandler Hooker is another good fight. I don't know who they have in the talks for Hooker. Hooker is always an exciting fight, and that guy's striking style versus Gaethje. I mean versus Chandler. You got to imagine that would be fireworks right there. But yeah, Hooker might fight RDA. Yeah, that's another fight that makes sense. I could see them doing that. That'd be a great fight too. You know, Artie looked amazing in his last fight against Felder. Smart fighter, knows when to take the fight down to the ground, knows how to position himself, knows when to strike, when to move. He's such a seasoned vet, RDA. Nigel Lee, oh man, love those golden pipes. Just subbed. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Hey guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that always helps. The thumbs up always helps. You know the deal on YouTube here, but yeah, I gotta get more subs. I don't know what's going on with that. I get subs, I get guillotines all the time, but the subs on fucking YouTube slacking. But guys, thanks for tuning in. That was fun. I love chatting with you guys. We got to get more people in here asking more questions, but we got a decent amount for the first episode of Business is Booming. Next time we'll get more. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and all that. You know, we'll have a whole new setup probably here in a couple of weeks in the new house, so it'll be a little bit more professional looking, which will help. But yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. We'll try to get a recap going on. Is there a UFC card next week? I believe there is, right? For December 12th, right? Yeah. I think so. I gotta check that out. But yeah, we'll be back. Boom, baby.